What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Worship Leader Hangout. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to our channel, or if you're clicking on this for the first time, welcome. Consider subscribing. If you've been here a little while, you've probably noticed the last 8 or so videos have been featuring the band Lark, and I just want to give a special thank you to the band Lark and for them helping us do some tutorial videos for guitar, drums, keys, and bass. They did 2 videos each, and we also talked about things that every worship leader needs to hear from their band, the questions that they should be asking from their band. So at the time of making this video, probably the 8 or so videos before this one, go check those out if you want to learn from that band. They're incredible musicians, incredible people, so go check that out. So thank you guys so much for doing those videos for us. But today we are going to talk specifically about walk-in music or pre-service music. We're going to talk about why we use walk-in music. We're going to talk about the apps that we use to make this happen, and we're going to talk about how to set it up and how to do a few things on those apps to make it even better. So let's go. So you're thinking, well, pre-service music, what's so important about that? Well, actually, there's quite a bit of importance of having good and well thought out pre-service music. A long time ago, this is nothing new. I didn't come up with this, on my own, and we didn't think, oh man, we're inventing all kinds of stuff because we're so smart. No, pre-service music has been thought of for a very long time, and a lot of thought and processes and systems of lots of stuff has gone into making this what it is. And you can call it a prelude. Sometimes some churches actually have a prelude that happens from the stage with their musicians, and they kind of expect when you walk in to acknowledge that and to focus your mind in on what's being sang, or just focus your mind on worshiping God in that time, and just get ready for that. Just kind of help center yourself into what's about to happen in the service. A lot of times in more modern churches, we just use music at the beginning of service while people are walking in, getting settled, and we can actually tailor those playlists to come in line with the message and the theme, the overall theme of the message, whether it be a sermon series or just that specific sermon for that day. And so that's sort of how we use it today. But why and why is it important? Well, it does the same thing it's done for so many years. It helps center our minds on God and on what the message is going to be about, possibly. Sometimes we don't necessarily plan the pre-service music to go along with what we're talking about maybe in that service, but it also can help generate excitement for what's about to happen, especially if you play more upbeat, up-tempo stuff in the pre-service. But let me tell you a little bit of why I've been thinking about this. A little bit ago, I went on a cruise, and they did, as probably know, with cruises they do a lot of productions, a lot of Broadway style productions in their theaters on the boat. And I noticed this because both of the big major productions that we went to, they played pre-production music, or just music before, while you're coming in and getting seated, stuff like that had to do with what the play presumably would be about. Another surface level importance would be that we just don't want it to be silent when you walk in. I've been to churches where I've walked in and it's just super silent, and I can hear Sister Margaret talking to Betsy about her latest sewing project, and I'm just like, no, why are we talking about that? Or I can hear gum wrappers and babies crying, and I can hear all kinds of things. Or you have the new people that walk in, and if it's just dead silent like this, it can start to feel weird, when it's just silent, you just kind of feel strange. Well, those new people may think, well, if the greeter comes and talks to me, everybody can hear our conversation, and people are coming up to me later going, hey, I heard you talking about it, and I'm just, music, like just providing a background music, so to speak. Even though it's kind of a surface level sort of meaning, it could just help people feel more comfortable about being in the room and getting ready to start your worship set. Before I show you how we set ours up, I want to talk about the apps that we use. We actually use Spotify, but there are other apps that you can use for this, like Apple Music. And, well, really, that's about it. Apple Music, Spotify are really the only two that I would say are best for pre-service playlist walk-in music because of the capabilities you have with setting up playlists and deciding exactly what songs you want for those moments and being able to use those just about anywhere you are with internet access or data. Let's hop on the computer. I'm going to show you how we set this up. You can see here we have walk in, walk out. We don't really call it pre-service here, but it's the same thing. And this is the music that we have chosen for the last, I guess I would say maybe 3 or 4 months. Now this playlist is ever changing. What I like to do, what I love about Spotify is that you can see when those songs were added and just get rid of stuff that just starts to get older or used too much over time. Another thing I like about Spotify is right there at the bottom of those playlists, you have recommended songs that they generate from their algorithm of what style of music is in that playlist, as well as artists and things like that. So you can check out your recommended songs and listen to those and see if that's something that you might like to add into that playlist. Get rid of some of those older songs at the top. And when you've gone through that list and you've decided those suck, you can hit that refresh button and it refreshes that list for you to be able to check out some new songs to add to that playlist. So one great feature about Spotify, I'm sure some of the other apps have, is that you can overlap songs and I like to do it by 12 seconds. So it kind of gives it that DJ effect. And how you do this is you on a Mac, you just click on Preferences, slide all the way down to Show Advanced Settings, and you just take that little dial, crossfade dial right up to 12 seconds. Obviously you got to click it on if it's not on. Another playlist that I use within Spotify is Countdown. Now Countdown is a little bit more intentional. We're going to decide what song we want right before our worship set, because when our service goes countdown right into the first song on the worship set, typically I want to be a little bit more intentional about what song I use. So on October 7th, as you can see, I added Won't Stop Now. It's the only song in that playlist. And what I like to do is I like to give instruction at the top in the title of the playlist when to start that song, so that way it flows really nicely into our first song. So for example, on this one, this song's about 7 minutes. There's about 5 seconds of silence at the end. So I said start 2 minutes before the countdown. So at 9:58 a.m. So now if this song was, say, 4 minutes and 50 seconds, then what I asked them to do is wait until the actual countdown itself says 4 minutes, 50 seconds. So that way, once it gets down to 0, we are already now starting the first song and that song is ended. It's just a nice transition rather than just a fade. Now the reason why I only have one song in this playlist is because it will stop. And that is very important that this stops, because they can play this song and once it finishes, they can already be on ProPresenter and not have to worry about that playlist going to another song or another song playing randomly, because of Spotify's really cool feature where it just plays random songs that are similar to the one that was in the playlist, and when the playlist is done, it just starts playing randomly. You don't even know where it came from. It happened before, as you can tell. So what I do is I just have one song ready to go, and they don't have to worry about it when they switch over to ProPresenter. Now I know some of you actually download those songs, have them ready, put them in the ProPresenter, make them a part of your countdown, blah blah blah. That's great. That's a great feature, and I'm excited for you. However, I don't want to have to worry about all that and go through the work and have to buy those songs extra just for that moment. There's a few more playlists. If you want to check us out on Spotify and look at some of our playlists and how we do things, just know it's ever changing. It's always subject to change, but we are College Park Church on Spotify, Greenville. It's the red logo right there. There we are. We have no music on there. We just love music. We follow music. But you can check out some of our playlists if you want to. So one feature I kind of alluded to earlier was the ability to be able to play on 2 devices at the same time, or on multiple devices at the same time. And the way you do that on Spotify is you set your playlist up the way you want it, and you click this download button. It pulls all those songs, downloads them to that particular device, and you now no longer have to worry about hitting the play button and it's saying, oh, well, Sally over here in the auditorium's playing, do you want to continue playing there, or do you want to play it here? And then it messes Sally up and you're just like, oh gosh. So now you could just turn off internet, turn off data if you want to on your phone, whatever, and you can play that playlist anywhere. So essentially you have the ability to play on multiple devices at the same time. So it's that simple. Now Spotify does limit you to 3,333 songs downloaded to each device. That's a lot of songs. If you're downloading 3,333, that's a lot. Like, there's 34 songs in this playlist, and that's 2 hours of music. That about wraps it up. I do want to say a couple more things. Teach your people this. Show them how you want to set it up, so that way if you ask them to make a playlist for whatever reason, they set it up the way you want. And tell them when you want to start this playlist before your service. Maybe you want it 30 minutes before your start time, maybe 15 minutes, I don't know. But it is important that you actually have your people, your sound guys, your tech guys, to start that playlist before people start walking in, so that way you have all the elements that we talked about and all the benefits of the pre-service music. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate you subscribing to stay up to date with what's going on here at Worship Leader Hangout, and to be involved in our community here. And it's growing, as you can see. So thank you so much. If you're watching this like 10 years later, we love you too. We love you. And you should subscribe as well. So why did I say that? Anyway, thank you so much. Remember, great worship leaders are always learning. Stop using your CDs and your cassettes. For real. I mean, what is it, 2000 something? Okay, so